Let's be honest, most modern refrigerators look amazing until they stop working 6 months in. You're not just buying an appliance anymore, you're buying a gamble. And in this video, we're pulling back the curtain on what's really inside those 1,000 machines, the good, the bad, and the brand skating by on reputation alone. Let's kick things off with a brand that's been riding its reputation harder than a rodeo bull, Whirlpool. Back in the day, Whirlpool fridges were the gold standard, solid, simple, and built like tanks. You could drop one off a moving truck and it would still hum like a lullaby. But today, you're looking at a brand that's trying to modernize by duct taping gimmicks onto its old school frame. And the results are less than cool. Take their $2,499 French door model. At first glance, it's got that polished look. Fancy shelving, adjustable compartments, even a 3-zone cooling drawer that sounds like it belongs in a sci-fi lab. But crack it open and reality hits harder than freezer-burned lasagna. Let's start with the ice maker because, spoiler alert, that's where 90% of fridge horror stories begin. Whirlpool's genius idea. Slap the ice bin on the door wide open to the warm kitchen air every time you reach for a soda. It's like trying to store ice cubes in a sauna. They melt, clump, and jam faster than you can say service call. And sure, the shelving glides and locks, which sounds nice until you realize that no one needs locking shelves in a fridge unless you're hiding gold bars in your vegetable drawer. Meanwhile, that fancy middle drawer they brag about, it's just a partition with a glorified flap. Nothing groundbreaking, just more plastic pretending to be innovation. Let's not even talk about the freezer. Actually, let's 3 drawers sound great until you realize you're now playing Tetris every time you need the ground beef. It's less organized storage and more panicked scavenger hunt. Bottom line, this Whirlpool isn't a disaster, but it's skating by on the bare minimum, and the ice maker just waiting to betray you. Our verdict, a shaky 7 out of 10, and that's generous. Now, let's move on to a fridge that almost gets it right. Frigidaire, price tag around $1,949. So, you're already saving a few $100. And frankly, this one surprised us. Frigidaire has quietly become the underdog of French door refrigerators. No flashy commercials, no celebrity endorsements, just decent engineering with a couple hiccups. Here's what works. Smudge-proof stainless steel. Your kids' fingerprints disappear like magic. Sliding shelves that actually slide unlike Whirlpool's, and a flex zone drawer that doesn't require an instruction manual. The ice maker's still a weak spot because of course it is, but at least it's enclosed, meaning it doesn't throw open its doors to humidity and ruin your cubes on contact. It also makes ice faster, which is great for parties, or anyone who doesn't want to wait 3 hours for a full glass. And here's a plot twist. It's got a second ice maker in the freezer. You can shut it off if you don't need it, or go full Arctic blast mode and pump out enough ice for a barbecue. That kind of flexibility, that's what smart design actually looks like. No Wi-Fi required, the shelf rollers are smooth, the water filter is in a smart spot, and most importantly, this fridge holds up. Like actually holds up. The build quality feels sturdy. It doesn't rattle, it doesn't groan, it's not perfect, but it's practical. So what's the catch? Well, again, that ice maker. Even the best ones seem cursed. But if you're willing to roll the dice, this fridge punches well above its price tag. We'd rate it a solid 8.5 or even a 9 out of 10, which in fridge terms is basically a standing ovation. Let's talk about GE. Yep, General Electric. The brand that sounds like it. Should be building power plants, not chilling your leftovers. This $2,499 French door model walks into the kitchen like it owns the place. But pop that door open and the cracks start showing. First red flag, no external water or ice dispenser. That's right. For nearly $2,500, GE expects you to live like it's 1993 and scoop ice with your bare hands. Sure, there's a cute little internal jug that autofills with water and even has a spigot you can pour from, but unless you're nostalgic for camp cafeteria vibes, it feels like a weird corner to cut. Now, let's talk about that smudgerone front. Unlike Frigidaire's fingerprint-resistant finish, GE apparently thought it would be fun if every child in your house could leave their DNA on the door. Want clean-looking stainless? Get ready to wipe this thing down more often than a gym bench. Inside, the layout is decent. Adjustable shelves, flex zone drawer, LED back panel. It all looks modern until you start using it. The drawers have more drag than a parade float, and the freezer space feels squeezed. Why? Because GE decided to sacrifice bottom storage to make room for more drawers, which means your frozen pizzas now require Jenga-level precision. And the ice maker, it's in the bottom freezer. Not the worst location, but definitely not the best. And yes, you still have to reach into the bucket like you're digging for buried treasure. You better hope your guests wash their hands before fishing for ice. Final score 7 to 7.5 out of 10. GE isn't trying to be fancy, which is fine, but it also doesn't try to solve the real-world annoyances that make or break a fridge. If you're paying premium prices, you deserve more than a built-in water jug and a fingerprint magnet. Now buckle up because it's time to get spicy. Let's talk about the big players everyone loves to hate, LG and Samsung. First up, LG. At $2,199, you're getting a fridge that looks like it rolled straight out of a sci-fi movie. Smooth edges, glossy finishes, a touchscreen control panel that makes you feel like you're about to launch a drone. But here's the catch. It's all show. Yes, the build quality looks amazing. LG nails the cosmetic details. The plastics are tight, the seams are flawless, and the doors close like a whisper. But inside, you're dancing with a devil called the linear compressor. This particular model comes with LG's newer generation compressor, which they claim fixed the catastrophic issues from 2015 to 2021. And maybe it has. But let's be real. Those problems took years to show up the first time. So unless you're comfortable gambling $2,000 on a "we swear it's better now" pitch, tread lightly. The ice maker in the door, which sounds like a smart use of space until you realize the air vents that are supposed to keep it cold are a few inches below the ice bin. So, every time you open the door, warm. Air wafts in, and your perfectly crisp cubes start melting into a sad slush. LG throws in some bells and whistles like a craft ice maker that produces fancy cocktail spheres. Cool idea, but it makes 3 balls in 24 hours. You could make more ice by sneezing into a tray, and when it breaks, which it will, good luck finding someone who can fix it for under $400. So, what do we give LG? A solid 8.5 out of 10 for style, ambition, and feature set. But for reliability, it's a coin toss. And now the brand that sparks more fridge rage than any other, Samsung, on sale. The Samsung French door model we looked at was $2,199. Retail, $3,400. Let that sink in. $3,400. But here's the kicker. This fridge has only one ice maker, and it's in the refrigerator compartment. That's a problem. Other brands at this price point are giving you 2 ice makers. Samsung, just one, and theirs is notorious for failing. Ask any repair tech what brand they hate working on the most, and Samsung's ice makers will top the list. Frozen lines, jammed buckets, boards that glitch harder than a bootleg DVD. There's even been class lawsuits, and Samsung knows it. That's why they slap a glossy finish on everything and call it black stainless. It hides fingerprints like a pro because you'll be opening and closing that freezer a lot, trying to figure out why your ice disappeared. Even the control panel is in a weird spot instead of placing temperature controls on top of the flex zone drawer. They tucked it away on the main panel. Bump it by accident, and you won't even realize your fridge is defrosting until your chicken starts sweating. Samsung gets a 5 out of 10. Stylish? Yes. Functional? Barely. Reliable? Like a weather forecast. If you like gambling with your groceries, this one's for you. We've torn apart the overpriced, the overhyped, and the overly complicated. Now, let's talk about the few refrigerators that still just work. No smart hubs, no disco lights. Just solid cooling, simple parts, and quiet reliability. Because your fridge isn't supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be invisible. The best ones stay out of your way and keep your food cold without begging for attention. Let's break down the ones that still do the job. Whirlpool Top Freezer, the Toyota Corolla of refrigerators. Not sexy, not flashy, but it runs for 15 years and rarely complains. Whirlpool's top freezer models are as close to bulletproof as appliances get. No tech bloat, no complex sensors, just a compressor and a cooling system that does what it's supposed to. If something breaks, it's usually a cheap fix. And better yet, Any repair tech in America knows how to fix it blindfolded. Amana, quiet, underrated, dependable, owned by Whirlpool. Amana skips the hype and gets straight to business. No gimmicks, just cold food and consistent performance. Most people overlook it. That's a mistake. Techs love it because it's simple, sturdy, and doesn't need constant babysitting, and it usually costs a few hundred less than the fancier brands. Frigidaire and Electrolux if you keep it simple. Forget the gallery line or anything with too many buttons. Stick to the base models. No touchscreens, no dispensers, just reliable cooling and smart layouts. They're not flashy, but they're consistent. And when it comes to fridges, consistency is what counts. Now, 5 tips to save you money and a whole lot of regret. 1. If it looks like a spaceship, don't buy it. Touchscreens and voice controls won't save your groceries when the control board fries. 2. Avoid fridges that require special filters or parts. If you can't buy replacement parts at your local shop, it's not worth the risk. 3. Check where it's made. American-built models, especially from Whirlpool and Frigidaire, often have better quality control and easier access to repairs. 4. Think twice about bottom freezers. They look sleek, but they break more often and cost more to fix. 5. Ask a tech, not a salesperson. Salespeople push what's popular. Technicians know what actually lasts. Bonus, if the fridge is too big to fit through your kitchen door without drama, skip it. Giant fridges look cool until they break and no one wants to touch them. Most people don't think about their fridge until it fails. And by then, you're out money, out groceries, and out of patience. So buy smart, stay simple, and don't fall for the hype. Thanks for watching NextGen Picks. Hit like if you've ever been burned by a smart appliance. Subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns and drop your worst fridge fail in the comments. You're definitely not alone.